Monday's guy in a slump? Well, I'm going to give you my major hacks on how to get out of the Monday blues. And guess what? Rick will be on stage too, giving us his personal hacks.
Welcome to Waist Up Wardrobe. I'm Christine Vartanian, a civil engineer and attorney turned personal style expert and image consultant. As the founder of Jade for All Seasons, I am passionate about unveiling the inner confidence of my clients by developing their personal style. But is getting dressed up still important in our virtual world? Well, that's where my experience can help with what I call Waist Up Wardrobe. Waist Up Wardrobe is a podcast for all things you need to conduct an outstanding Zoom meeting. It's about how to dress for the camera, but it's not just about the clothes. It's about everything you need to know to show up on brand and professionally for the camera. Join me in the Waist Up Wardrobe studio to discuss how to navigate this virtual world and dominate from behind the desk.
Hello, Virtual Nation. It's great to have you here for episode 99 of Waist Up Wardrobe, where we're going to talk about something that most of us entrepreneurs and professionals can really relate to, and that is the Monday blues. How do you get yourself out of those Monday blues and the Monday slumps? So before I get started, I just want to say we are on iTunes. We are on YouTube. You can go to iTunes and you can download us and listen to us if you can't visually watch us. And you can rate us and review us if you have a chance to do that. And of course, we're on YouTube. And you can find us anytime in the Facebook platform at Waist Up Wardrobe. So let's get started. And I would love to bring Rick up here, my producer, who's the awesome guy who makes this whole production go around. And you get to be on stage today with me, Rick.
Yay.
We're going to be talking about something that we can all relate to if we're in the professional world or, just kind of work that regular work week, right? It's that Monday. Monday rolls around and you find yourself sort of in that slump, trying to kind of get that energy up and rev up into the day. And for some reason, you come off of that weekend, right? Because a lot of times that weekend isn't necessarily restful, right? You're busy, you have family obligations, maybe you've got kids doing sports, you're kind of running around, and you come to Sunday, and it's like Monday already, and you're like, whoa, I feel like I didn't get any rest, right? So how are Mondays usually for you?
Well, I learned it's kind of a mindset thing, right? Even though Mondays you tend to be exasperated, and it's like, okay, I need to do something to get myself motivated. I try and do different things on Sunday, get those slumpy feelings out on Sunday. So then by the time Monday comes, then I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you're almost trying to cheat it, right? You're like, oh, well, my Monday's starting Sunday, so I don't have to feel like I'm, just starting all over again on Monday. I totally get that. And I've come up with 10 ideas of how I usually find myself trying to get out of the Monday blues. And the reality is, it's kind of like Mondays, Monday comes, and I totally can relate to, Monday's a tough day to get your energy up. But at the end of the day, it's just another day of the week. It's kind of like, I don't really believe in Year's resolutions, right? Any day could be a new year, a new resolution, but there is some truth to coming out of that weekend and into your work week. And for that, I have some hacks that really do tend to work for me when I'm in that mindset. And you're totally right. It is a mindset, right? And one of the first things, and I don't know if this is something that you do or if you have any, opinion on this, but I find that playing music sometimes can really elevate me right away. It's like if you when you're like dancing or you put some kind of energetic music on, it can elevate your mood. It's sort of like, it's about your senses. You want to get your senses a little bit stimulated, and you want to be like, okay, what's going to make me feel a little bit more up-leveled, motivated or inspired? So music always does it for me. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I always have, except for when we're on the show. Well, no,
Yeah.
That's not always true, because when I'm not on air, I always have music on. I'm listening. I usually have background music on. And if I'm working on the computer, I'll have my headsets on and listen to something, whatever playlist I happen to, feel like listening to. But I always have, music there going on. It's kind of a subconscious distraction. It's kind of like the white noise, right? That's going on while you're doing your computer work and that sort of thing. So I like music. And like I said, sometimes during the show, if I get a little antsy and I know I'm not going to be on, I'll take an earbud and I'll stick it in and I'll be playing music.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing, proof that music gets you going and up levels your emotional vibration is the fact that first, our intro video, right? The sizzle reel. Mm-hmm. When that comes on, I find myself dancing and getting ready for the show and hyped up. That's exactly the feeling you want to get for yourself when you're feeling a little bit low energy, right? So it works all the time, music. And not only Mondays. I mean, I find myself like in the afternoon, after lunch, you kind of get a little bit in a slump. I'll put on music and it really lightens up the mood.
Yeah. I'll do that too. And it's funny that you say that because I watched Dylan, right, doing his thing on his computer, whether he's gaming or he's doing something. He's constantly multitasking. He's got, Discord going on, chatting with his buddies. He's doing work, and then he's got music coming out of his phone. So there's always some kind of white noise going on, but he gets through it. He powers through it, and it keeps him motivated, and he goes all day,
I know it really does help. Music is just such a great way to elevate your mood and change your mood. I mean, music helps us feel, and if we're feeling low or, we're feeling like we just don't have energy, music really does the trick. So the second thing that totally relates to the work that I do, and I don't know from a male perspective or a gentleman's perspective how this relates to men, but as a woman, putting on a good outfit really changes the mood. I mean, it is one of my cornerstone beliefs is, right, if you put on a great outfit, your emotional vibration again instantly goes up. You feel really good, you feel confident, you feel empowered, you feel like inspired, so putting on a good outfit, there's that real connection between what you wear and how you feel. Real psychology of clothes. Is that the same for men?
I guess it's different for guys a little bit. I mean, depends upon what, I think it depends on what kind of field that you're in. But for me, because I'm usually casually dressed, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference to me as long as I'm comfortable. Right. Yes. And so if I'm sitting in front of the camera or if I'm, on a show like this, I'm usually in shorts. I have flip-flops on, so I'm comfortable, and to me, it's just all about comfort.
Yeah. Well, and it's like that for women as well. I mean, if you're sitting here on a Monday and, you're just really tired and dragging and you're wearing a dress with like an elastic band that's just, holding your breath in, that's going to make you grumpy. So that actually does apply to women as well. A little bit more on like, colors. There are certain colors that elevate your mood, like yellows are a really great color because it's a happy color and it really does elevate your mood. And wearing fun patterns can make you feel just a little bit more up, bring up your mood a little bit. So those things do matter. And I can totally understand how, like the male perspective would be like more comfort because we care about that too. We want everything. We want, we want comfort. We want good looks. We want everything. So I can understand that. But definitely when I'm feeling a little bit like low energy and I put a good outfit on, I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to do something important. The other thing that really kind of gets me centered, this is number 3 on my list, is sort of, I feel like when somebody's overwhelmed, like, when you start a Monday, like oftentimes those weekends, they're not super restful. They're full of great things happening. It's all positive, but it can be a little bit of a running around. Like you said, you were with your son, Dylan, running around last weekend to volleyball tournaments, and was one after the other. And, that is fun. it's exciting, but it's work, right? So when you get in on Monday and you get started, you're like, oh man, I don't feel like I got any rest really, right? So that feeling of like in the morning on Monday, the overwhelm, like not knowing where to start. You got a lot of projects pending, you maybe some appointments, and not knowing where to start can really be overwhelming. So for that, I really like to make lists. Now, I don't know, and everybody's different, right? It's maybe a personality thing, but lists tend to center me a little bit where I can start prioritizing. Okay, I know I have 10 things to do, but I know these top 3 things are really critical. So is that something that ever comes to play for you?
Oh, of course. I mean, there's nothing more satisfying than checking something off the list, knowing that it's done, right?
Yeah.
And so the night before, what I'll usually do, even in downtime, if we're just watching a program or something, I'll have a notebook out and I'll check off all the things or I'll write down all the things that I need to accomplish then the next day. And so that way I can just, look back at it and make sure that, okay, I need to do this, and this first. And then, the other things, they can wait a little bit longer during the day. But when I get it done, it just feels like you have you get a feeling of accomplishment. And now you're motivated to go to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. And then I find that if I do that, I have a lot more time by the end of the day to either, do things that, either be with the family or do other things that I needed to get to, but didn't have time to do it.
Absolutely. And I think that's what it does. It really just organizes your thoughts as opposed to having this like popcorn brain where like, oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to, if you make that list, it doesn't mean that what you have to do is any less, but at least it's an organized way. Mm-hmm. And you cover the absolute priorities in the day. So that really does help me. And I guess it's something you utilize as well. And it's so interesting because you mentioned something about, the day before. Now, this is something that I do religiously because it really does help me manage my Mondays with less overwhelm. And there are times when I actually miss doing it, like I won't do it, and then I'll feel the difference on Monday, right? So, and that is, I do take part of my Sunday evening to plan not only for Monday, but for the week. So I will sit down with my computer on Sunday evening, after dinner, and I will look at my calendar, the whole week in a view, and see what do I have going on for the week, right? Who do I have to be working with? What projects I have due, things like that. I get that sort of big picture view of the week. And then I go and I look to Monday and I see, oh, okay, so Monday I got this, and this, and that kind of helps me make my priority list. But what it also helps me do is like, if I can do something on Sunday that, that will free up my Monday, like for instance, respond to an email, right? That needs to be responded to, or send a text to somebody, or if I owe somebody like a picture or something, like easy things I could do on a Sunday as I plan and prep, then it allows me to feel like I've connected to the people I need to connect with for the week. And it really takes off a little bit of that pressure and therefore the overwhelm and therefore that sort of Monday, where do I start? So does that like resemble anything that you do to prep on Sunday, or is it a little different for you?
No, I find myself, it's inconsistent. It just depends what I have going on that Sunday. If I can knock out a few things, simple things, then I will. I try and stay away from doing work on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because I found for a long time, ended up, if I did a little bit, then I wanted to do a little bit more. And then all of a sudden, it was time away from the family or time away from just kind of enjoying the day. And so, there are some things that I'll maybe spend an hour at the end of the night before I go to bed. I'll try and handle some of the easy stuff. And then that way that's all that stuff's knocked out and I can really focus on what my priority list is for the day.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. So that just knocking out the easy stuff can take away a lot of pressure and a lot of just extra stuff that kind of sits in the back of your mind, distracting you a little bit, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
I do really love to stick to that rule. And I do take an hour on Sunday to do that because for me, it just takes a little bit of the edge off of Monday for me. So so it's like me starting the week a little early. But I understand how, like, those boundaries, right? About the weekend being family days and, I just steal a little bit of that just to feel a little better the next day. So, anyway, so the other thing is that could make, Monday a little bit more palatable if you're feeling overwhelmed is building something in to look forward to, right? During the day. In fact, I have this philosophy that I like to build in something to look forward to every single day because I wake up in the morning and there's things that I'm looking forward to doing, but there's also those things that are just obligations that I have to do that aren't necessarily like my favorite thing to do. So I always make sure that in each single day there's something like really great to look forward to, whether it's my cup of coffee or my workout for the day or meeting a friend for lunch or planning to watch a great movie at the end of the day. Really, it's really nice to build in something that kind of gets you going so that you feel like you can look forward to it. And that's just like something I do on a daily basis, but it really works for Mondays. What are your thoughts?
Mhm. I do something similar. It's more in the form of dream building a little bit. So I do some midday dream building, right?
Ah,
Especially in the morning, you start early, you're going, you kind of get, I need to stretch. I need to motivate myself to do something. And so I'll take, as little as a half an hour, maybe over lunch or something like that. I'll start looking at the things that really get me motivated. And then, okay, now I can set little mini goals towards that thing or towards that place or towards that activity, whatever it happens to be. So I can inch, closer to that, even though I know it's a little bit out there, but I know I can start inching towards that if I have it in front of me. Right. It's almost like a vision board or
yeah.
a goal board that you're looking at every day. That you see it and it's in front of you, and it's like, okay, I want to have one of those, or I want to get one of those. And it's sitting there in front of you.
Yeah. Well, I love that you said dream building because that is one of my things too. Like one of my top things is similar to that. It's really connecting with your vision board and your why on a daily basis, especially on Monday, right? It just gets you inspired. It gets you kind of, focused on the direction you're going. And honestly, I feel anytime an entrepreneur or a business owner is at a low or not feeling their best, that is the best time to think about their why and look at that vision board. So similar in some ways is my one of the things that I love to do is connecting and reconnecting with that vision board and the why, because that's really the ultimate thing that inspires us and keeps us going. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it for me, it motivates me, and it's something that's just a little bit beyond what you can get now, but it's achievable if you just work a little bit harder and you take the right steps forward to get it. So to me, that sort of thing is very motivating.
Yeah. So with you, it's more like the mini feats, right, of getting to the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Those mini feats the mini steps you can take to get there. So another thing that can be very enjoyable, that can really elevate your mood, again, it goes back to really your senses, right? Is aromatherapy. I don't know if you've ever tried that, but aroma, like putting on a diffuser with like a eucalyptus or a lavender, this can be very calming, relaxing, but also mentally uplifting. Have you ever experienced one of those things or thought about that?
Well, out in our family room, we have one of those, right? And Dylan bought it for Tammy for Christmas, right?
Uh-huh.
And so she'll usually have eucalyptus or lavender or something like that, and it does calm you. Kind of makes me tired though. I don't know what it is.
It calms you too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the aroma you put in. I mean, I think there are certain aromas that are more calming and will get you to go into like a tired, sleepy mode, like the lavenders. But then there's things that perk you up. So I think it really depends on the scent that in the essential oil you use for that. But I really find that very enjoyable. It does. There are a lot of them are uplifting, like the citrus ones, and even eucalyptus can be very uplifting and kind of in a way nourishing, in the sense that it nourishes your soul in a way. And I think it's just a really great touch. It just really can elevate your mood. And then there is, of course, like one of my favorite things to do is I really like to start my days out, and especially Monday, with a workout. I mean, that really gets me grounded. And some people like to work out later in the day, like after their work day. And for me, and I do that sometimes, but working out Monday morning is such an essential thing for me, because it is a very hard workout, first of all, because I am usually very tired from the weekend, but I feel it. But once I get through that, I really feel energized. Even like a yoga workout or a walk or a hike or something like that, walking the dog, like things like that get you moving, because movement is medicine and it is very uplifting. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'll usually take a mid-morning walk, so if let's say I start at 8:00 and I'm at something for a couple of hours and it's like I need to take a breather. I'll go out and walk a couple miles and then come back, and then I'm refreshed and, ready to continue. So it definitely, I mean, it's great being outside unless it's too hot, but I love being outside and just kind of taking in the area. We live in a area that's very close to a lot of wildlife, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll sometimes go down and walk the trails where there's nothing but, I don't see any other houses. I don't see the road. I don't hear the road. And it's almost like going on a midday hike, in the middle of the woods. And then, you come back to reality, an hour later. But it's for me, it's very refreshing.
Absolutely. And so here's the thing too, as it relates to Waist Up Wardrobe. I mean, for all of us that are working from home, right? Still working from home, will continue to work from home. What I find is just being inside in front of a computer for most of your day can add to the fatigue level or the demotivation. And sometimes just walking outdoors and just smelling that fresh air can really just perk you up. So one of my favorite things to do and a place that inspires me is my backyard. I have this like backyard that feels like a sanctuary. You hear the water fountain, there's a lot of like wildlife in the back there. It's kind of funny. Like it's such a big joke because we have like from squirrels to rabbits to hummingbirds to birds to nests. Like it's a very fertile backyard there. And, we get the cats coming in from other neighborhoods, and then our dogs go out and they chase them away. There's lots of activity back there, but it's almost like a little sanctuary. And stepping out into that, I've noticed really changes my mood quite a bit. I didn't realize this actually until, it was really, we had a whole show about this, the Zoom fatigue, right? I was experiencing a lot of Zoom fatigue, just being in front of a computer all day because all my work is virtual. And then I went out in the sunshine and I really perked up, and I was like, oh, I think I've been indoors too long.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you need to get out and get some rays on you, because it's totally refreshing. And that's why I make it a point at least to go, if not twice a day, I usually go at least once a day in the morning and just get out in the sun and just walk around. And it's like I said, it's just refreshing. Kind of gets you back into the swing of things when you come back to the office.
Right. Absolutely. And so, another thing that as we've worked from home, a lot of people work from home, it's like getting dressed up, right? Like that tip, like getting dressed up. A lot of people are like, well, why do we need to get dressed up? Because it does elevate your mood. So why do we need to do our hair as ladies and put on a little bit of makeup? It's because it elevates our mood and it gets us a little bit more perked up. And for the gentleman, I imagine like shaving and, getting ready, even though you work from home, even if you're going to be in your comfortable clothes, is essential. And so I find that one of the tips I have is really putting on a little bit of makeup and doing my hair and accessorizing a little bit on top of getting dressed up does help quite a bit too. Is that the same for you as a guy?
A little bit different. So, pardon?
Not makeup necessarily, but kind of grooming, the grooming part.
No, because guys are different. I mean, I can just roll out of bed, wash my face, throw on a hat, and I'm ready to go, right? But if I'm really feeling tired, right, or just kind of worn out, even after a couple cups of coffee, I'll jump in the shower and just kind of get refreshed and do that. And that certainly seems to help. It helps me extend my day, my usefulness during the day when I'm sitting in front of the either in front of the camera or in front of my computer. So.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. It's like, you gotta act like you're leaving the house to go to an office almost, especially if you're stuck in front of a computer, right? Because that is kind of getting you outside of that environment, right? Because, they used to say, don't take your work home. Now if you work from home, your work is home, right? So it's like, get away from it. Yeah. And that can cause that redundancy or that mundaneness that can actually contribute to maybe it's a little bit of boredom. Maybe it's just exhaustion from being in the same situation for most of the day. And so, doing those little things, getting dressed up as if you're going to work, grooming yourself, stepping outside in the sunshine, those things can really elevate your mood and change your outlook, especially on a Monday.
Yeah. Right? It's interesting because depending upon the type of project that I'm working on, right? And if I get stuck on a piece that needs to evoke a lot of emotion or something like that, you know what I'll do? This sounds crazy, but I will stop and then I'll start looking at YouTube videos of like America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent, and I'll watch these underdog clips of people who come on, they're super shy, very introverted, and all of a sudden they come on and they're just like, oh my God, it just makes to see how much talent comes out of such an introverted person that it motivates me because it gets me emotional. It gets me in that state where, okay, how can I evoke that emotion in this project that I'm working on? And so, I mean, it's different for everybody, but stuff like that works for me. And it's funny because Dylan, every once in a while, he'll come in and I'll have just watched a clip, right? And I'm like, I'm wiping my eyes and I'm clearing my face. And it's like, Dad, are you okay? It's like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
I totally get that because that's inspiration. What inspires us? Human beings inspire us, right? When you see somebody who comes from like rock bottom or is an underdog or something like that and kind of reaches a certain success or impresses you or surprises you, that is a very inspirational thing because they're just a human being, another human being just like us. And just doing that can be very inspiring and uplifting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so number 10, which is it's last but not least, sometimes I just like to look forward to a yummy meal or a yummy treat in the day. So, it's like, some people have cheat days, but like I have like a cheat moment every day of the week, right after, and I like to look forward to all my meals. So I'm really specific about what I eat, but I always make sure that what I'm eating gives me joy, So honestly, sometimes just looking forward to a yummy treat or even a great cup of coffee can be very uplifting. What do you think?
Well, so I typically look forward to the end of the day if I'm going to be making a meal, right? If I'm going to be cooking for the family.
Yeah.
Because I typically will go overboard in stuff that I create or stuff that I've seen that I want to duplicate and create. And it's typically not an easy thing to just whip up in a half hour. usually takes some prep time, and so I kind of look forward to that towards the end of the day. So I can try and prepare something special for, Tammy, for Dylan, or whoever happens to be here.
Yeah. No, I know that about you. You like to cook, just tomahawk steaks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some of your posts about that. Well, so that the great thing about this show is that it is a show that everybody can really take something away from, right? So it is about just the everyday entrepreneur, that professional, what we go through on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. And, and Mondays tend to be sort of the stereotypical day where you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, it's Monday. So the Waist Up Wardrobe weekly wrap up is that the main takeaway here is you want to find something that will uplift you, whether it's putting on some great music or, putting on some aromatherapy to boost your mood, or to put on a great outfit. There's so many things you can do to really change your mood and elevate it so that you can get inspired. I think one of the most important tips is really kind of setting yourself up for success on Monday. And that is if it's for a little pre-planning on Sunday evening that you do, Rick, or that I do, to kind of get some of the easy stuff out of the way so Monday you can hit the ground running, or whether it is, waking up on Monday and doing a little priority list so that you don't have to be overwhelmed by the 100 of things you have to do. Those can all be really great. And as a tool, this show, the top 10 things we listed, can be a great tool to give you ideas of how to get you started off on the right foot on a Monday. And finally, action item. Well, just take one of these tips and start implementing it and see if it's going to work for you. Right, Rick? Because that's what we're all about here.
Absolutely. Don't let Monday be chaotic, right?
Right. And don't let it bring you down.
Yeah, that's right. Plan for the day and implement your plan, and you'll be prepared, and you'll be much more effective and come in with a better mindset.
Absolutely. So there you have it, Waist Up Wardrobe Nation, the male and female perspective on how to get out of the Monday slump. So join us next week on Thursday at 11:30, where we're going to be bringing you episode 100 of Waist Up Wardrobe. And please tell a friend, because we want you to join us that day. We're going to have some amazing speakers on a panel next week talking about goals and vision and how to get there, and how somebody can look back after 100 episodes and tell themselves, wow, I never thought I could do that. But then look and see themselves in the situation and go, yes, I did. So please join us next Thursday at 11:30, live next show, and bring a friend.